Hey everyone, I'm Scott Stokely and I'm here at Dracula's Castle in Romania. But I'm going to tilt the phone down so you're not looking at my nose the whole time because that would be weird. This is the second part of my four-part series on the 2023 Eurotour. I'll be talking about events 3 and 4, Krokol Open in Norway and the Swedish Open in Boros, Sweden. But first, I had a very successful season. I talk about it on episode 1, and I did it injury-free. And if you haven't noticed, I'm kind of old. I teach disc golf. I have a method of teaching disc golf that not only lets you score better, but healthier for your body. There's 3 ways you can get my teaching right now. I have a couple upcoming disc golf retreats, 2-day retreats in Scotland. Message me for details. I have some either 5 or 7-day disc golf retreats this winter in Asia. Message me for details, and just so this video won't be dated, there will be more than just this winter's events, but message me and I'll fill you in on what's happening. And I also have my 6-month online class, Become a Complete Disc Golfer. It's available at scottstokely.net or message me for details. One more look at the castle. Unbelievable. Okay, so I talked about the first 2 events in Croatia and the Czech Republic. Now I'm off to the Eurotour number 3 in Krokol, Norway, just outside of Oslo. And I was getting really excited for this one. I kind of struggled because of the length at Konopista, but I got to play a round, well, my first practice round in Krokol, and I looked at this course and thought, this is a course I could absolutely murder. It is so technical, and there's out of bounds on every hole, and they're tricky little shots. And like I think probably 14 of the holes had the basket was someplace where if you land wrong, you're going to roll away a long ways, if not out of bounds. So I said I could murder this course. It's also a course that could murder me, but that's better than Konopista, where the course is probably going to murder me and can't do much to it. This is a course, if I got hot on, just like in Croatia, I thought I could shred. So I played a couple practice rounds out there, was starting to get it dialed in, and then the night before the tournament, maybe it was the night before the day before the tournament, but all of a sudden I got a fever and I started sweating and I started getting the chills, and it felt a lot like what had happened 4 times during the first half of last year, where I had the E. coli infection. Except this hit me even worse, and I had to withdraw from the tournament. And I basically I keep thinking it was 2 days, but I was basically in and out of, I'm not trying to exaggerate this for pity or something, but I was basically in and out of consciousness. What I felt like was 2 days, but I've been told by the person who wasn't hallucinating it was 3 days. I didn't leave the parking spot for 3 days. I couldn't drive, I couldn't do anything. It was just cold sweats, sleep, wake up, chills, freezing cold, can't get warm, go back to sleep, aspirin, ibuprofen, just it was horrific. And then finally by day 3, I was feeling awful, but I was able to drive, so I just said, let's just head down towards Sweden and find a place to park there for a couple days. And I of course got to get to a hospital, right? And so I wanted to get to a hospital in Sweden because I was thinking about getting a residency in Sweden, blah, blah. But anyways, wound up at a hospital in Sweden, and they told me that the infection had spread to my blood. And apparently that's pretty serious, according to the smarty pants doctors that study this stuff, that it's more serious than if you just have a non-blood infection, I guess. But it was bad, and so they did a bunch of tests on me, and to the best of my knowledge, they don't even know what was going on, but I was just feeling awful. So obviously I missed the event in Krokol. I cannot wait to get out there next year and attempt to murder the course. So I get down to Sweden, and by the time the Sweden event is happening, I'm feeling better. I'm getting around. I did a clinic. I feel functional. I'm eating. except I was dizzy. Like when I stood up, I could tell my equilibrium was off. It's been about a week now since the infection, and like I could hang out, I could go out to eat, I could talk to people, I could even throw some, but like I was gonna play horrible because my balance was off. Like I could tell there was no chance, and I felt so bad because I didn't feel crappy, not really, but I dropped out of that event as well. Now, I did play some practice rounds on the course thinking I would feel better, and it had some similarities to Krokol in the sense a lot of technical shots with OB and tricky shots. My first impression of it is that this is a course that I would have a little bit of a harder time on possibly than Krokol. Just the lines were a little bit not my forte as much. I mean, Krokol, every hole I was like, oh my God, I know exactly what to throw here. When I played the course in Sweden, I thought, oh my God, I'm not sure what to throw here. So I could have done well there, but I was a little bit, to be honest, a little bit scared of the course. But again, I can't wait to come play next year and attempt to murder it as well. So yeah, so events 3 and 4, I didn't play either of them, and I was so bummed. The only thing that made me feel better, honestly, was that since I am fortunate enough to be doing this as my job, it's not like I took my 2 weeks vacation and came to an event and got sick and missed it. That would be, obviously horrible if that happened to anybody. For me, the following weekend I'm at another tournament in Norway, so it's like it sucked, but it's life and it's not the end of the world. I'm so lucky to get to do this. I'm so lucky that I get to miss the Swedish Open and just feel really good about the fact that I get to go to PCS the following weekend in Norway. So yeah, not much to share about these except the courses were hard. Krokol especially was so hard. That course. I'm telling you, this is a course where the best players in the world could shoot 8 under and 2 over back-to-back rounds and not really play that much different, which is, I think, kind of fun. So I'm excited. I'll go back to Krokol and Boras next year, but that's it. Not much to share about these events, except this is episodes 3 and 4, episode 2, covering Eurotour 3 and 4. And be sure to check out episode 1. There'll be a link in the comments, in the description rather. And I have upcoming disc golf retreats in Scotland. I have upcoming disc golf retreats in Asia, and I have my online class, Become a Complete Disc Golfer, all of which will make you a far better player. So if you want to travel or you want to do online, just contact me and I will send you information. All right, thanks everyone.